Alright, the Philadelphia Eagles added some much needed depth to the receiver room, and it appears we could have a battle on our hands. And the Birds shocked everyone yesterday by hiring Matt Patricia as a defensive assistant? Is this really a good idea? I thought him and Slay have beef. Plus, Bijan Robinson aced his interview when he was in Philly. Hear what he said that left Howie Roseman thoroughly impressed. But first, let's run it. Hey everybody, I'm Josh Davis and I cover the Eagles. Make sure to hit the like button and sub if you're new. First up, the Eagles have a new offensive weapon in the building, as Adam Schefter reported on Wednesday that former Falcons wide receiver Olamide Zaccheaus is signing with the Eagles per the Katz brothers. The 25-year-old Zaccheaus had a career year last season with Atlanta with 40 catches on 61 targets for 533 yards and 3 TDs. The guy who goes by Olamide on Twitter has hands like glue. As Jeff Kerr shared, Olamide Zaccheaus had the highest yards per catch average without recording a drop in 2022. He was also one of 3 players to have 40-plus receptions without a drop last season. And this is practically a homecoming for Olamide, who played for St. Joe's Prep and grew up in Plainville, New Jersey. So it's all love for the Wizard of Oz, right? Well, not exactly. After an old tweet was dug up from Oz where he said all Eagles fans do is complain, Thomas Peterson had a perfect response, which he said, "Don't give us a reason to." One guy who has provided reasons for criticism is current wide receiver 3, Quez Watkins, who, yes, I know you remember that drop, seemed agitated or motivated to say the least when he reacted to the news of the Oz signing and Philly fan jeers by tweeting, "I'm gonna make y'all eat every word." So now we have a battle royale between Quez and Olamide to decide who will be the next wide receiver 3. Choose your fighter. Is it fast Batman Quez Watkins or the Wizard of Oz Olamide Zaccheaus?
Finish him!
Who wins it? Do you take the burner who can take the top off the defense and show a little bit of sparks at times, or do you go with a guy who has proven ball security and maybe better consistency? Eagles general manager Howie Roseman seems to favor Quez, saying yesterday, "Nobody in this building is down on Quez Watkins. We are excited about him and his skill set." And don't forget, Nick Sirianni advocated for Quez several weeks ago at the NFL coaches meeting, saying Quez didn't get as many opportunities, but was still very productive. I don't know. It sounds like Quez is still wide receiver 3 in their mind. Quez, sure, he has the speed, he makes the defenses account for that speed, and he's got the chemistry. He's played with Jalen, so he's got that type of camaraderie. But Oz, like I mentioned, has the consistency, the reliability, and there's some competition. So either way, I'm all for iron sharpens iron. But I go back and forth on who I think will win the wide receiver 3 battle. Speaking of back and forth, the Eagles hired Matt Patricia yesterday, and then they didn't, and then they did. ESPN's Tim McManus first shared a tweet saying, according to the team site, Matt Patricia has been named the team's senior defensive assistant. But not long afterward, he recanted the tweet saying, the blurb on Patricia has since been deleted. The unfortunate part of all of this was that this happened during the Howie Roseman Nick Sirianni press conference, to which a member asked Sirianni if they were in fact hiring Patricia.
I know there was a report out that was said, and we're trending in that direction. It's nothing's final yet, and we're trending in that direction, and so we'll see how that progresses, but it's trending in that direction, yes.
At that point, the writing was basically on the wall, and it didn't take much longer before Adam Schefter confirmed the news by tweeting, "And now it is official. Eagles have hired former Patriots assistant coach Matt Patricia as their new senior defensive assistant, per sources." It was at that moment that Darius Slay was somewhere going,
"No, God! No, God, please, no! No!"
Okay, not really. At least according to Sirianni, who said he did speak to Darius Slay about the Matt Patricia hiring to make sure everyone is comfortable with it, and that he knows it will be a great working relationship. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about and why there would be an issue in the first place, Eagles Pro Bowl cornerback Darius Slay has a history with Matt Patricia, who used to coach him in Detroit and would call him out in front of other players, saying he wasn't in the top echelon of cornerbacks in the NFL. well. That obviously rubbed Slay the wrong way, and SI.com shared his comments from back in February where he said, Patricia basically just said you were not in that category yet. At that time, I only had 1 Pro Bowl, but now I'm at 5, so I want to know how he feels about that now. I don't wish bad on him, but as a man, me and him just don't get along. He's a smart coach, he knows his X's and O's, but the disrespect is not what I'm with. It's an odd look to say the least. Yes, you've got the Patricia beef, and the Eagles are quite honestly not listening to Slay. If we remember the Denard Wilson news, Slay kind of said he wanted him as the defensive coordinator, and the Eagles did not do that. They're hiring Patricia. Sure, there's some experience and skills there, but I don't know. And senior defensive assistant, what even is that?
What would you say you do here?
We know from what owner Jeffrey Lurie told reporters recently that Nick Sirianni interviews extensively for every position and makes very calculated decisions, so Nick is excited about this hire. As he said, obviously his resume speaks for itself. He gives you a great mind in there that's done it at the highest level, and so it gives you great ability to bounce ideas off of with the defensive staff, and it gives me another former head coach that I can bounce ideas off of with things which I think will be very helpful. It's true that Patricia does have good experience and knowledge, but I'm very much on the fence with this hire. I want to know what you guys think. Was this good, bad, ugly? And what's up with the Eagles content manager posting and then unposting these days? On Wednesday, Jimmy Kempski of the Philly Voice reported that the Eagles website had Kenny Gainwell number 0 jerseys for sale on the website. And while many of us began salivating over Kenny G being Agent 0, it didn't take long before we got an update straight from Gainwell himself where a fan DM'd him to ask if he would be switching to 0, to which he said, "Don't let nobody scam y'all." But what if we already purchased the jersey? Okay, I didn't actually purchase the jersey, but I did get really close whenever the news first came out. And I want to know, how many of y'all did actually go and buy Gainwell's jersey? I will say that would have been really cool, a really cool change up in the running backs room. Philly does seem like they may be in for a running back change or an addition as news about Texas running back superstar Bijan Robinson is heating up. Last month, Bijan Robinson visited Philly and wasn't shy about posting his Vizzy because, of course, it's Philly and he has the same agent as Jalen Hurts. But the fascinating news that just came out was the report from ESPN's Howie Roseman on how that visit went down. Howie Roseman said to Bijan, "Pitch me. Why do I need to take you at 10? And listen to Bijan's response. You're not going to get a running back. You're going to get a difference maker." Hold on. If you didn't catch it, does that sound familiar to anyone?
Coach, I'm a difference maker.
That was the clip from the Eagles' pre-draft interview with Jalen Hurts. You know, highest paid guy in the NFL, breed of one, Jalen Hurts, our guy. Yeah, so talk about acing an interview. Howie then responded saying, "That's one heck of a pitch." Look, I'm all for Bijan, and you guys know that. I've said it for many times, but he's got the same agent as Jalen. He aced the interview. Now you hear this. Nick Sirianni, the reports are, really likes Bijan. But then it's also interesting that reports came out that the only 2 visits Bijan has had have been with the Eagles and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Remember, the Bucs are at 19, so I think at this point you can't afford to trade back because a team might just jump up and take Bijan. And according to Todd McShay, the Dallas Cowboys are another team that's in the market for Bijan.
I still hold this out. Dallas is obsessed with getting a running back that can be their guy, be a compliment to Tony Pollard like they had with Zeke when Zeke was, more closer to his prime. Mike McCarthy was dying for a big power back like that, wants to run the football. They want to be a run-based team, and they would love to bring the Texas star into Dallas and make him the star of their offense. So Dallas is sitting at 26. It wouldn't shock me if they made a splash, jumped up into the teens ahead of teams like Detroit and the Chargers and went and got Bijan maybe around like 14, 15, 16.
I agree with McShay. If you want Bijan and are that high on him, you take him at 10 and you don't wait for anything else to happen. Do I think Howie would do it? I don't know. Maybe. Howie was asked during the press conference yesterday about would he ever consider taking a running back in the first round, and he said, "The most important thing, especially at 10, is getting a unique player. There's so few unique players that if picked by position and not talent, it's not a good pick. We're being as open-minded as possible." I used to say no, but now I think it's possible. Given the recent information we have, the only other position that I could see the Eagles going with at this point would probably be offensive lineman, because it was recently reported that the Eagles have held official visits with Anton Harrison, the tackle out of Oklahoma, Darnell Wright out of Tennessee, and Paris Johnson Jr., the tackle out of Ohio State. But are those guys unique players? Less than 1 week away. What will we see? I can't wait to find out. This has been the Philly Special.